Hello again and welcome back to Public Praise TV. I am here with co-author Stanley Porter. How are you today?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome. We're going to talk about your book, The Wait is Over. And you collaborated with Nikisha Nunn. Tell us about the book.
Well, as you probably see, it's called The Wait is Over, so it has multiple meanings.
Yes.
So the very first thing is physical weight, okay? Nikisha Nunn is a personal trainer out of Dallas, Texas. And I'll get into very briefly how I got into that whole thing about personal training. But physical weight often is symptomatic of some deeper issues for many people. So people many times engage in emotional eating, or there might be some trauma, that they're going through, and the eating is the manifestation of those kinds of things. So the wait is over is not just a declaration about physical weight, but it's also encouraging people to think deeper as well. So we're talking not just mental issues, but spiritual issues as well.
Wow. So you just discussed about strongholds with the weight. Have you had a similar situation that you wanted to share?
Personally?
Yes.
Well, this might be a good opportunity to explain how I got into this whole thing and what this all means to me, because most people recall me as being pretty physically fit. I was always into martial arts and, went to the gym at least 3 or 4 times a week. I'm pretty active as well, so I definitely wasn't a sedentary dude. I was a school teacher, minister, so I'm running across the stage, or I'm running across a classroom, running across the street to catch a bus. But a couple years ago, I was in a car accident, and a guy rear-ended me, totals the car. And so for the first time in my life, I'm laid up with a concussion. So the doctor's orders are, you need to be home for 6 months, total rest, no movement, can't go to martial arts, can't go to the gym. So the first time in my life, I'm sedentary. I can't move like I want to. Now I hadn't changed my nutrition, my diet, so it caught up with me. So I gained some weight, and the really alarming thing for me was when the hospital called and they said, we need you to come in, your labs have come back. And they showed me what my normal cholesterol reading should have been. The triglyceride panel should have been about 140 milliliters. Mine was 1,460.
Ooh.
And here I am, had never gotten any kind of bad report from a hospital. And they were saying, you're a stroke or a heart attack waiting to happen, and we need to get you on medication as soon as possible just to bring these levels down, and then we can talk about what else to do. So I was just very kind of shaken up by that, and I don't know if skeptical is the right word, but I just hesitant to jump into being medicated. And so I, through a series of events, connected with Nikisha, and come to find out that she was formerly obese, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and she, she professes, a solid prayer life, solid research, and teaming up with trainers, was able to get herself in a position where she didn't have to take medication. So she says to me, just give me 6 months to work with you. And if at the end of that you have to take the meds, so be it. But let's just see what God does and what we can do together. And thankfully, at the end of 6 months, I was cleared of having to take medication. So that's my personal story in terms of the wait is over. Just that journey to knock off the pounds I needed to get out of my life so that my levels could be normal again.
Now, you spoke about collaborating with Nikisha and getting you back on track, and you talked about faith in that journey. How does fitness and faith intertwine? And I'm interested in this because usually after church we're having a big Sunday dinner and the church cookout and the fish fries. So how do we intertwine the two?
Well, I mean, I think on a most basic level, if we think about our bodies as temples and that we have to take care of our temples, and they're not our own. When we think about eating, we're thinking about satisfying our own hunger or quenching our own thirst. And for many of us in those moments, we're not thinking about the bigger picture. Like, why am I here? What is this body supposed to be used for? What is coming up tomorrow that this body needs to function well for? And it could be a variety of things that we know fall into a ministry category. Let's start basically with at home, to be available for as many years as we can be for our spouses and our children. We can talk about for church work, which falls in the category of ministry. And we could talk about just being an example in our communities. So often when we're eating, we're not thinking about that whole thing and what that food might do to us that impacts the bigger picture. We're just hungry, okay? And so I think on that basic level, if we, think about the big picture of what our bodies are here for and what they're supposed to be used for, I think that's the beginning of the conversation. I think as well, often people think healthy living in a physical sense is only about eating and exercise, but it's not. You've got, and I'm tying it to the spiritual piece and the faith piece. Going back to what I said earlier about emotional issues, let's just take an example of something like stress, which has a very real biological impact or physiological impact, which, and the reality is that stress releases cortisol, a hormone, a stress hormone, which is a fat-producing hormone. And so when we talk about ways to relieve stress, there's been lots of scientific research. One of the things that has been, kind of verified, among other things, is that faith helps people relax, faith activities. So we're talking about whether it's going to church, whether it's having a solid prayer life. And in one particular study, I'm trying to remember the doctor's name, but he comes out of a Christian university, and he says for people who even practice faith in the comfort of their own homes, that they tend to have healthier lives than those who have no faith practices at all. So you can look at it that way in terms of, being connected to God, reading your word, praying, and practicing it at home. See, there's a difference between going to church, hearing the word, and enjoying that expression of that outward expression of your faith and that fellowship in that community. The key is for those who leave that setting and practice their faith in their everyday lives, they tend to have lower stress levels and the ability to cope with stress more than others.
That's awesome. It sounds like you have a really holistic approach in your book, and that's well appreciated. I have one final question for you, my signature question. Why are you proud to proclaim and never ashamed?
Well, I'm proud to proclaim, Jesus Christ, because honestly, I can truly say this, that any good thing that has happened in my life has been the result of God, and I'm aware of that. There's a scripture that says every good gift comes from above, but there's a difference between kind of reading that and actually personally knowing that the gifts in your life and the good things that have happened actually do come from. I'm serious. I mean, God has opened so many doors for me, and to kind of keep the story short or my answer brief, it's who I am. So if you look at my life, the tapestry of my life, you can't miss God in the details. So I have no choice but to proclaim. This isn't something that I have to think about. It just is who I am. If every aspect of my life, whether it was how I got into teaching, I taught in Boston Public Schools for 9 years, that was God. And another day I can explain that story. It was all Him. How I became a worship pastor out in Revere for 3 years at Eagle Heights Church. That was God. I didn't even ask for this stuff. Even after I left the school system, I was walking down the street. I resigned because God told me to go into ministry, and I had no idea where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay there. Right after I handed in my resignation letter, I'm walking to the T station, not knowing what the next step is. A woman is walking the other way and says, "Brother, do you need a job?" See what I'm saying? So every aspect, everything in my life, you look at the tapestry, God is in the details. I have no choice but to proclaim it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Stanley, for coming by. Once again, this is Stanley Porter, and the book is The Wait is Over. Stanley, tell me how people can reach you and buy this book.
Sure. The simplest way to reach me is to go to www.stanleyporter.net. That's my website. That's www.stanleyporter.net. And you'll find the book. I mean, there's a link that says personal training, and you can scroll down and find the book, or there should be a picture of the book on the homepage, so they can just get it that way.
All right. Thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
And you stick around. More Public Praise TV after this.